Hello and welcome to the Jason Eldridge Photo Show. In this video, I'm going to interview the nature photo guys, Chris Gibbs and Joe Desiree. Is it Joe Desjardins? Joe. It's funny. I was watching YouTube trying to figure out how to grow the channel, and they always say never say in this video at the very beginning of the YouTube, and every single one of my YouTube is in this video we're going to interview the nature photo guys. So we'll go ahead and get started. Chris and Joe, I'm not going to try to say your last name. I'm going to ask you to do that for me. I tried a minute ago and it just didn't work. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. And for everybody watching, if you don't know Chris and Joe, check out the nature photo guys. They are amazing. In fact, it'll be in the show notes below. Just stop what you're doing right now. Go down there, find their information, and go watch their show because it is incredible. So Joe, Chris, thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, I appreciate the kind words there, Jason.
Thank you so much.
It may be the only ones you get from me this whole time.
Excellent. Okay. That makes a lot of sense now. Okay, good.
Yep.
Hey, go Flames.
Yeah. How's that golf game going right now?
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus.
Next year.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, we're gonna get started. Both of you said this is really the first time you've done a joint interview like this.
Yeah.
On this end, you do interviews all the time with other photographers, but this is the first time. So tell us. We'll start with who's the oldest. It's going to be Joe, I think.
Oh,
Joe's
because
way
of the white
older.
beard. Is that what it is?
All right, Joe. Tell us about you. How you got into photography. How you ended up where you are now.
Perfect. Okay, Jason. So you say my last name, Desjardins. That's how you say it. So it's Joe.
Say that again.
Joe Desjardins.
Okay.
Desjardins. Yeah.
I'll try.
Really? Yeah. Joe Desjardins. We're all good.
Okay.
Perfect. So how did I get started? Okay, so we're looking at over 30 years ago. I started out as a commercial wedding portrait photographer. It's fairly young, and I ended up just submitting a portfolio to an ad in the paper, and it was like just random photos of some nature stuff, some people stuff, everything else. Lo and behold, they ended up getting the job. So I was really fortunate to work at that studio because Joe, the other guy's name was Joe. He was a master of photographic arts with PPOC, which is the Professional Photographers of Canada. So I was able to get my tutelage like right from the start. So kind of learned everything they need to know about studio lighting and everything, and it just kind of took off from there. So worked in the studio doing all that kind of work. Not a whole lot of nature photography back then. Then I worked in a studio in Thunder Bay, again mentored by another master of photographic arts, and that there was primarily a wedding and portrait studio. And then I started doing some nature photography then. I grew up in Northern Ontario, so nature photography was, nature is basically 3 minutes outside my door, right? So, but back then, growing up, it was more of just a point and shoot carried to capture the memories, not, actually get serious about photography, right? So, so it kind of went that way. And then, 22 years ago, I'm guessing, 23 years ago, I moved out to Calgary. And, Rockies are about an hour away, so that kind of kick-started the whole nature and wildlife side of things. I kind of got out of the wedding and portrait stuff, I'm saying a good 10 years or so ago. I just, it was time to leave the wedding photography side of things, just to put it nicely. I had a good run, so I kind of just wanted to stay with the nature side. So that's what I've been doing now. So that's the long and short of it there. So that's how I got started, Jason.
Okay. Well, I've done weddings too. I did several, and every time I would get done with a wedding, I would just go home. I was like, I am not charging enough money for this mess.
Yeah.
And so I'd raise my prices, and then somebody else would hire me. And the last one, I was like, that's it. I don't care how much money I can make at this. This is awful. So
It
I
is.
figure the bride needs somebody that enjoys what they do, and they weren't getting that from me.
It's a lot. People don't understand the work, like, and as far as what to charge, and like a standard wedding is anywhere from like 30 to 40 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
you got your day, it could be 8 or 10. There's the prep work, there's the meeting the bride and the groom beforehand, there's the editing afterwards, there's the album design, there's the deliver. There's just so much. So when I can totally get what you're saying there, Jason. Like, people might say, well, how come you're charging so much? Well, just look at the amount of work behind the scenes,
Yes.
And then if you hire a second shooter, you hire a grunt to help carry your lights and set up, a mini studio here and there. It certainly adds up, but yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah. God
So,
bless the ones that do it, but man,
yeah,
it just
no
gave me
kidding.
chills.
No kidding.
All right, Chris, you're next. How'd
I'm
you get
next,
where you
okay.
are? Yeah.
Well, it was a long road. I actually spent 27 plus years in the broadcast technical side of things on the TV side.
Oh, wow.
So I was running operations for multiple television stations up here in Canada. We launched MTV Canada up here. Country music television we ran. So I was involved in that for 27 years, but I always had some side stuff going on. So was a web designer for a while and then got into photography. I was always interested in photography growing up, but I kind of went the video route originally. So so I did that. And about 2007, my kids were kind of getting into sports, and I started getting into action sports, team sports. So I shot that for many, many years. I still shoot team sports and like action stuff today. A lot of hockey, a lot of taekwondo, a lot of football, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
You as well? Do you shoot sports too?
Yeah, my kid he plays hockey actually. He's played.
Nice.
This is his I think 12th year.
Oh, very cool.
Playing.
Oh, wow, cool.
He's a goalie, and
Very cool.
way back when, before he ever played, I had a chance to go shoot a Lightning and Hurricanes game. So
Nice.
I went, and my wife and kid, they sit way up in the rafters. Well, at the Lightning Stadium, they have a Tesla coil in the ceiling, so when they score, it arcs electricity everywhere.
Oh,
And he's 4 years old, and they score, and lightning goes everywhere, and he says, I think I want to play hockey. So it's been all downhill since then. So.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I actually worked with a goaltending school for the last 6 years, I guess, up here in Canada. It's Eli Wilson. He used to be the goaltending coach for the Ottawa Senators as well.
Yeah.
So I shoot a lot of video for them, a lot of photos for them as well. And
He goes to
I understand the goalie
a
side.
camp
so.
in Toronto to John Elkins.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah,
So he
yeah.
goes
The
there.
camps are definitely where it's at for sure to learn those skills for sure. But,
Yeah, it's a different, altogether different.
Oh, for sure.
Goalies,
yeah,
man.
different position. Yeah, goalies are, in a land of their own, I guess we'll say. So,
All right, so how did the two of you get together? How did you decide we're going to do a podcast? Because the world needs another podcast.
well, of course.
Yeah.
Sure. Chris and I
You wanna
talked
start?
about this. So Chris has been on a couple of my workshops, and then he asked me to do a podcast.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was basically so I used to do a sports podcast with another guy since 2008, and it was called off the goalpost, and we don't do it anymore. But I had always kind of been involved in more of an audio side of things, and Joe and I decided, we started becoming good friends or whatever, and he was like, why don't we do a podcast to get this going? And the very first episode we did was only audio, and how many questions did we have saying, we can't see the gear that you're talking about? So
Yeah.
episode 2, video. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and the rest was history. So.
I think it took us a little bit to kind of get started because,
Yeah.
as far as photographers go, we don't usually like being in front of the camera.
Right.
And so I was a little gun shy about actually doing that. Like the audio, yeah, that was great. But then we had to start with YouTube and like, oh my God, okay, here we go. So, just like anything, as it grows, you get more comfortable and, things get a little easier. But yeah, I guess it's happened pretty easy, eh, Chris? Like, I mean, just asked and we kind of
I think
talked
so.
about it and it just started.
For
Yeah.
sure. Like after the sports side for me, I started getting into like a lot of landscape, and then started going to actually and it's how I kind of met him. Started going to some of his speaking engagements, and then joined some of his workshops, and we got to know each other a lot more. And yeah, it kind of felt a natural move. I was getting way more into photography and kind of wanted to do that anyway. So I think it works well for us. We enjoy it. I mean, from the beginning, the very beginning, we both said, as long as we're having fun, we're going to keep this going. It's the moment it's not fun anymore, then, and we have fun every day. So
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Too much.
Sometimes too much fun.
You guys live close to each other relatively?
A half hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Calgary, and he's just outside there.
Okay. I was trying to say, is anything close in Canada? It's massive.
Oh yeah, I'm a half hour east of him, just in the little town, and he's in South Calgary there. So we're very very close in the grand scheme of things, because it could take you an hour to get from the northeast down, or the northwest down to the southeast of Calgary. Depending on traffic and everything else. But
Calgary itself is quite expansive. They've kind of spread it out quite a bit, so it takes a bit to get from the one side to the other, for sure. So
yeah, for sure.
So this is what you guys do for a living.
Yes.
This is it. What are
not
some
just
challenges?
the podcast.
Not just the podcast. No.
No.
Oh,
actually,
no.
There's so much more, I'm sure, than just that podcast. So,
Absolutely.
what are some challenges you guys have to live the dream, as they say? But anytime
my
somebody
list.
says that to me, I always say the dreams, nightmares are dreams too. So,
Yeah, no kidding.
No kidding. Well, go ahead, Chris. I know you and I kind of talked about this a little bit, but you do some other things too, right? So
Yeah, I do. So I mean, so I've been running my own photography and video business since 2019. So that's what I do. So it's a full-time job, but it's not just nature. So I do a lot of real estate video, sports video, sports shooting, video editing, video shooting, photo shooting, voiceover work, a bunch of different things. It's kind of, in order to run a photography business that I found, and I'm sure Joe can speak this, you kind of have to do a whole bunch of things to make it a go. Teaching nature video, nature photo, running workshops, it all kind of comes in together. So when I left the corporate world, it was kind of like, I need to do like 9 things to make this go. And I have been doing web design. I mean, there's a bunch of things. You got to keep your hands involved. But the challenge for me right now is, because I'm doing so many of those things, is literally getting out shooting. So
I started to say there's not a lot of room for actual creativity there, is there?
Right. So so it's been a couple months since I've been out shooting. So, there are different times in the year that we kind of, are pinpointing. Spring for sure, for spring bears, the fall elk season, that kind of thing. So we definitely don't miss out on that. But that's the one thing. I mean, and like I said, there's, everybody thinks let's start a photography business, but there's so many hats that you have to wear in this industry.
The photography is just a little tiny part of that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I would say.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, I mean, I would say 85% of it's business. It's anything from creating workshops, posting to, social media. You've got, where you put your photos there, Chris, and videos. Stock agencies.
Oh, stock.
Stock agencies. Keeping your website up. Print sales.
Marketing.
Marketing. It's just
your website. Accounting.
Well, and that's it. You are a photographer. You're a marketer. You're an accountant. Yeah. And then you gotta deal with like burnout, right? Time management is huge, because it's so easy to just get up, sit in the chair, watch some YouTube, and drink coffee all day. I mean, that's
that's not what you do.
You're not accountable to anybody but yourself, right? It's hard. Like there's you really have to plan. Well, if you ever saw Chris's TV for a screen, he's got Trello and Google. What is it? Google Calendar.
Google Calendar and Trello is like
everything.
a priority tool list that you're able to organize your priorities.
Yeah,
and you got to keep organized for sure. I mean, there's so much going on, but I mean, and the work to life balance is different when you're on your own, and it's. You tend to be working most of the time. I don't know how much of a balance there is.
Everybody thinks you work
fun.
for yourself, so you're at home, kicked back in the recliner,
right,
eating Cheetos. But that's not how it works.
Yeah,
sure.
no,
Yeah.
it's so different. And then you got to deal with some personal stuff too. Like, I mean, self-doubt creeps in
that's
quite a
huge.
bit too.
Sure.
It is. I mean, and that could easily come from, nobody buying prints, or, haven't heard any, like nobody signed up for a workshop just recent, or, like you're starting to wonder about that, or is your work any good? You're sitting there, and I don't know about you, Jason, but you're editing and you're going through like, let's say last year's elk red or something. You're like, oh man, there's nothing good here. I don't know, what did I do? Like, and I think all photographers suffer from that. But when you're making a living from it, that's not good. Like, you're
a
like,
lot of pressure.
oh my God, like where do you go with it, right? So, and then there's the the income, like the instability of that too. I mean, not every month you get paid, the big checks, that kind of stuff. It's just, it's different. And I hope anybody watching this or listening to this kind of gets the gist, like even like what Chris said too, as far as wearing many hats, because that's just part of it, like, working on, I'm currently working on ebooks and working on, courses, and Chris and we teach seminars, and like, there's all different income streams to, that kind of all comes together at the end of the year. And, lo and behold, you made a few dollars, at the end of it, right?
But we're
So,
living the dream and having
that's it.
fun.
Oh yeah, living the dream.
and having fun.
Yeah.
You'll definitely get a check from me in the mail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's a good question though, but yeah, there's a lot to it there, Jason. for sure.
As creatives, I don't know if it's just creatives across the board, but we all struggle with, sometimes I'll look at my work and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Right.
I am terrible at this. I should throw my gear in the water and just be done with it.
Right.
Or it's the whole comparison steals all your joy when you're looking and you look at somebody that's been doing it for 2 years and their images are absolutely stunning. And here I am, been doing it forever, it seems like, since 2001, seriously, since 2001. And I look at somebody that's been doing it for a couple of years and they're amazing. And you absolutely can get into that self-doubt. I don't want to do this anymore. I've lost my creative edge. I've lost all that stuff, or maybe I didn't have it to begin with. I think it's good to hear that other people go through that kind of stuff too. So.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then in that case there, I'm a big YouTube guy. I've mentioned it a bunch of times. And then I'll go to YouTube and look up, new photographers or, different channels to get some inspiration, or, I mean, I've got bookshelves with just all kinds of stuff. Pull out a book again and start, flipping through it. And, when Chris and I teach or do the workshops, you get inspiration from other photographers. I mean, that's the beauty of running workshops too. I just had one on the weekend, and it was an amazing group, and it's just the camaraderie amongst everybody, and the questions and the stuff I learned from them and they learned from me. And, then you get inspired by them because they're like the best part of running a workshop is when they're taking some photos and then they're like, oh, look at this. They show you the back of the camera. So, that gets me excited too. Right. And then that inspires me to like, oh, okay, I got to try something different now, so, finding inspiration can be tough at times, but it's out there,
The second guessing though is definitely something I've tried to put away as much as I can. I mean, at the end of the day, you're constantly second guessing your work for sure. And I've said this on a few of our podcasts. I tend to say it a bit, but people are going to love what you do. Some people are going to hate what you do. Right. As long as you're happy with what you're doing and moving forward, and you're improving and you're working on your own craft, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Yep. Right? Create the photos and videos in your case. Create the photos and videos that you love, and then you'll find an audience that way, one way or another. I'm still looking for the audience, but I'm still, creating stuff I love.
Your videos are great. I've been watching some of them. They're awesome, man.
It's a great point, Jason, because, a lot of people shoot for the gram, right? For Instagram or for social media. And I just don't know if they're really happy with, they're not creating work or a lot of them, I guess, are not creating work that they want to create. They're just creating work for the likes, right? You know, so it's a really, I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, just do you, and everything will fall into place. That's a great way of putting it, Jason. Yeah, your audience will find you. So that's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to a different topic. It's going to be something a little lighter, I think. What's your favorite subjects to photograph and where?
Oh boy. I think Chris and I are pretty close to
We're pretty close,
same.
probably.
So it's bears and elk for me. Those are my. I mean, I love to shoot everything. I mean, even I could sit there with a Columbia ground squirrel or Richardson ground. We got all kinds of those ground squirrels up here. I could sit there, you know, and just have fun. You know what I mean? Capturing different types of behavior and stuff like that. But primarily bears and elk. The elk rut is getting closer to being at the top than the bears because it's an absolute magical time of the year. And just the fact that, you know, that the behaviors we can capture the sounds and everything else. And then black bears, polar bears, grizzly bears, you know, that kind of stuff is right at the top too. So it's kind of my top two. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm actually the same. I mean, grizzlies for sure. I mean, elk. But, you know, also loons. I love loons, especially doing a lot more video now than photo. I love, you know, stick the shotgun mic on and be able to capture the loon calls. And that's the thing with elk, right? The bugling that happens, be able to catch the behavior, the bugling, the noise, the sound. I don't always have the mic on during grizzly season or during bear season because they don't. Aside from munching on dandelions and stuff, unless there's sparring or Joe's got this great video, Munchie Bear. I think you only recorded that with your iPhone, if I recall. You could just hear the bear.
Yeah, it was recorded with the iPhone outside the window of the truck, and all you can hear is the crunching of the dandelion stalks, and that thing is like 25,000, 35,000. I don't know. It just kind of went mini viral just for a bear sitting there crunching.
Just crunching on
the
it.
sound.
Totally.
It was pretty good. So,
pretty good for an iPhone.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. No kidding. So,
and I believe, Chris, I've heard you say that you also hear a shutter occasionally when you're.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah, you see that?
Bears and elks and
Yeah, it was funny when we first we would when we had the mechanical shutters back before mirrorless. You know, Joe and I would go out a bunch, and I'd do photos for so long, and then I decided, okay, there's like 10 of us photographing the same thing, like. We're all going to try to sell the same piece of artwork. I'm going to start bringing my video background into this thing. So I started doing a lot more video, and that's kind of why I'm doing a lot of video now. But yeah, I started doing video and catching this beautiful elk bugling, and all you hear is Joe's shutter, mechanical
that's
shutter.
14 frames per second.
That's
this machine gun now. Yeah, for sure. So.
We actually use that in some of our presentations.
We do.
Just to say, shh, if you're in mirrorless, you know, turn the shutter noise off, right?
Yeah.
You know, so, but no, that was a good one.
Video,
that was hilarious. Yeah.
Exactly.
So do you find yourselves when you're out there, do I do video now or do I do photos now or what do I do? Because I started trying to do extra videos when I'm out just doing landscapes, and I have trouble switching to video in landscapes. And then if there happens to be a critter there, there's no way I could think, I think I'm going to videotape this. Way.
I'll just say the struggle is real. Well, okay, Chris, talk about our beginnings and thinking we're going to have two rigs attached to us. And I'll let you start.
Sure, there was a lot of that. I mean, at the beginning when I finally decided that, okay, I'm going video for sure and making sure I get my photos. Okay, do I carry two cameras? Okay, this one's rigged up for photo, this one's rigged up for video. But wait a second, I want that lens for video and I want that camera for like... Anyways, it just became a big, huge mess. And there's other times that, okay, we'll switch between photo and video on the camera. Well, at the end of the day, there's a certain way to shoot cinematic video, and you need ND filters on there to get the shutter speed. It has to be double your frame rate to get the smoothness and the quality of video. I won't get into that too much. But yeah, so switching back and forth. I don't have variable NDs on for photo, but I need them on for my video. And So it just became a bit of a scenario. So for me, I'll let Joe talk to you how he's handling it these days. But For me, I kind of have two scenarios. If like we had the the luxury to go to Churchill in November, and we had a great time photographing polar bears. And my whole thing was I want to capture video now and be able to capture the behavior, but I want to also make sure I get my photos. So what I usually do, my thought process is get my photos, get some some decent shots, and I'm happy with that, and then switch to video, and then I'm shooting video pretty much for the rest of the time of that scenario until I don't usually have that scenario. I'm not disappointed that I don't have the photo or don't have the video. At least I've captured it, or at least somebody's captured it with us, right? So you, Joe?
Yeah. Well, I kind of, in the beginning it was so hard because, I would be taking photos, and then I'd click over the video, and then I would think the scene was done, and then I'd shut off the video, and then it was the wrong time because something just happened, so I didn't get the photo or the video because I was just in that transition. and a friend of ours, Jackie Matichuk, she said, when you're about ready to shut off the video, just wait a couple of extra seconds. Like, you know what I mean? Just kind of a mental exercise to do that, right? But it was so hard for me because I really pushed back on video. It was social media that kind of got me involved in it because of reels and shorts and all this kind of stuff. And but now I actually enjoy it. I actually enjoy capturing video. But so basically the whole video thing and the photo thing, I've just really tried to streamline it. 2 camera bodies, 2 different lens setups. And if I have to use the R5 with the 1-400 for stills, well, the R5 is amazing for stills too, so I'll use that, and the same with the R6. So I tried to do the 2 separate camera bodies, 2 different lenses, and just leave it as it is, and make any changes as I go. So
Okay.
yeah, it's tough. It really is.
And maybe one day I'll get there. I'm definitely not there now. Or the worst for me is when I swap it over to video, and then I forget that I've swapped it over to video, and then I start trying to take photos again, and nothing is working like it's supposed to because all my settings are different. So yeah.
Yep.
Well,
maybe one day I'll get there.
When we first started shooting video, with the ND filters, you'd switch over to photo and take ND. And I'm like, why on earth is everything dark? And why am I shooting at like ISO 8000? Oh yeah, the ND filters, you'd run into that quite a bit. So until you get used to it and just practice and be patient with it, then that's for sure the key. So.
Or remembering to hit record, because I would have it all excited and I'm like getting it focused and framed in and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Only to look up in the upper right. I haven't even hit record yet. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
Nice.
So, but no, that's how it is. Yeah, for sure.
I haven't gotten any critter videos yet. Most everything I do for them is all stills. The videos that I do are landscape, rushing water, that kind of stuff. I'll do those, or panning around, just trying to do the B-roll for the video or something like that. That's all I'm doing right now, but it's a start. If I love grizzlies and I love elk, so if I could ever get to, we don't have either one in South Florida, so for me, if I get a chance to photograph them, I will. But it's really hard for me to switch to video if I see them. But I'd like to. For sure. I'd really like to.
And that's exactly it. That's me, Jason, right there in a nutshell. Photos first, video is way second, but it's getting close to being kind of. Okay. And, when Chris and I are shooting out together, well, if I'm getting the photos, Chris is getting the video. So we have something that we can work together too to create.
Oh, that's great.
A video or something like that too. So, kind of look at it that way too, I guess. Yeah.
And for me on the video side, mine is kind of swapped now. I bet you I'm shooting 90% video, 10% photos almost. I'm just focused on getting the behavior, recording that. I upload video footage to stock as well. Video is kind of where things are going on the stock side. Photo stock isn't as big as it once was, but video stock is definitely starting to grow up. And
absolutely.
So anyways, I'm focused on that.
No,
a little bit
I have a funny story about stock photos. So I just took a bunch of my images and I shoved them in a stock agency just to forget about them, because at least if they're there, they're doing more than they're doing on my hard drive. And then my wife and I are walking down, we're walking through Hobby Lobby down here in South Florida. And I look and I see a bear photo and I'm like, that's my stinking photo. So I started looking, and Somebody had bought it and then framed it and sold it in Hobby Lobby, and they'll make far more money than I ever will with my own print. So I think I probably made 36 cents on that. But I got a nice picture of me holding it, with the original next to it. So that was kind of cool.
Geez.
Nice. There you go.
It's a game of numbers, right? I mean, obviously the more you have there, the more you're going to make. And like, I think with photos now, you need tens of thousands of photos uploaded to make any decent money. And I guess it'd be the same with video, hey, Chris? I mean, the more you can obviously get up there, the better the chance you've got. But
for sure. I mean, like anything, they have these subscription models now, right?
Yeah.
So they, sign up for a monthly fee and you can download this amount of video or stock photos or whatever. But I mean, definitely there's, I use a black box. I don't know if you've heard of that, but basically instead of uploading to one site like Shutterstock or Adobe Stock,
Right.
They work with like 10 different companies. So you upload it once, and if it gets approved, it goes to all those sites. So you don't have to do individual sites. And
Right.
so it goes to everything. It's definitely worth it for sure, especially if you got videos sitting around on your hard drive. So.
Now to throw a little worry in on it, how do you think AI is going to affect that? I mean, it's already pretty abysmal with stock agencies. I can't imagine what it's going to be once AI really gets going.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of those conversations, Joe? And it's like, man, it's
AI.
we don't really like talking about no.
I guess there's a couple of things. As far as the photo side of things, I'm not sure if you know who Thomas Heaton is.
Yes.
Or have watched any of his videos. He had a really good video about AI. And he figures, and I agree with him here, that on the photo side, for true, like for people that want true artwork, people that, want real photographs, telling the story behind the photographs is what's going to do it for those photos. It's what's going to sell those photos. And I can attest to that when we're at markets and stuff like that. When people ask, oh, how'd you get that? Where'd you get it? And everything else. Really cool story. Usually ends up with a sale, right? Yeah. But he feels, and I feel the same, that because there's a story behind the image, that it's going to be successful. It's going to turn into maybe a sale or a book or into an ebook or something along those lines. AI, well, AI is AI. I mean, the imagery is getting ridiculous. Like, I mean, I see some of the stuff posted now. I'm like, holy! Some of them's kind of hard to tell depending on the subject, But I think people still want some of that authenticity and want to know that it was actually taken by somebody.
Right.
So I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's kind of,
it does.
Yeah.
I know for photographers, for me at least, AI is there, but it doesn't replace the experience of going out in nature or whatever it is that your jam and doing what you do. It doesn't replace that. You can type in a few words and get a picture, but it's not the same as, I mentioned the bear photo of Hobby Lobby. At the beginning of that, I was in Kate's Cove in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but the grass was really tall, and I was driving in, and I said, if there's one thing I wanted to see today, it would be a bear sticking its head up right out of the grass, and you just got the ears, and sure enough, within an hour, I had that photograph. And so to me, no AI is going to replace that. So
no. And to your point, Jason, too, recording video, recording the behind the scenes stuff and putting it together in a YouTube channel with those images, people love that. People really love to see. I mean, you're not going to show an AI image and say, well, I mean, where's the story behind that? A few keyboard clicks and you know what I mean? That's what it is. But showing the process on video or with photos, behind the scenes stuff, I mean, people just love that. So.
And same with the video. I mean, like the main reason I'm shooting more video more and more, there are a lot of people that can't get to the locations that we get to, right? All three of us, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're bedridden or whatever, or they just don't think they'll be able to ever explore. But if you can show them those photos or show them those videos and be able to have them enjoy the experience as well, and they know it's not fake, they can actually experience the same. And like Joe said, I 100% agree. I mean, there's been numerous times I've sold a photo because I've told the story of how I captured this photo, and they were connected to it, and they feel something there that they recollect or whatever from their past, and they're drawn to it. So if they can be drawn to it, and I don't think photo and video on our side, and like you said, like getting out in nature and the mental health breaks, that it's huge. No comparison, right? So
yeah, that's huge. So all right, I'm going to shift this to vision. So vision is a word that I picked up from Cole Thompson, John Barclay. They have a YouTube channel. They don't talk about gear at all. They just talk about photography in general and the art side of it. So vision is something that we all have, whether we think we have it or we don't. We all have it. And it goes beyond the guides, the rules of third and the rule of odds and all of the rules that you're taught when you first enter photography. It goes beyond that so that your own personal vision finds its way into the photograph. And so I wanted to ask you all, being wildlife photographers, because you have these big lenses that get you as close as you can possibly get to the action, to the wildlife. How do you apply your vision to the photograph and to the video that is not just a formula? It's this, I know with video, it's a specific shutter speed, but you've got the composition that you're thinking about and the photographs that you're thinking about. Do you think about that anymore, or do you just make images that you love? Do you say, oh, I need to rule a thirds on this one, or I need to leave this open on this side so the animal looks like it's got somewhere to go? You've heard that 100 times probably. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, for myself, I do shoot with a 500 prime, but I also got like a 16 to 35 and a 24 to 70 and the 1 to 400. So I carry a lot of gear, and I always say that every lens is a wildlife lens. Yeah. So for me, my vision, obviously it's like telling a story, but I love to photograph those environmental images. So if you see on my Instagram, for instance, I do have those kind of like those trophy shots, the head and shoulder kind of, in your face kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love taking those, but you'll see on there also the storytelling images where you show the environment, what the animal's actually doing, the interaction with like I say, a mom and her cubs, whether they're nursing or climbing a tree or, even though I've got that long telephoto, I tend to use a lot of the kind of the mid-range stuff, the 1 to 400, just so I can pull back and tell more of a story as opposed to. So I'm not really thinking too much about composition. I guess after time you see it without knowing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's your vision. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. So, later in post-processing, I might fine-tune things a little bit, but I'm just shooting for what I see in the story I'm trying to tell. So, but every lens I have is a wildlife lens. And I say this too, every lens I have is a landscape lens. Because whether you're using the 500 to, for those tight, intimate shots up in the mountains, chasing light, or that 16 mil to get, the grand vista in sort of thing, right? So, Chris and I try and teach not to, pigeonhole kind of like, okay, the 500 is just the wildlife, and the 16 to 35 is only ever for landscape. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we use all our glass for everything, right? So. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's kind of how I look at things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that answers it perfectly. And I'm with you. My favorite landscape lens is my 100 to 400, actually.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So what gear do you shoot?
Well, honestly, we've made it this far and we haven't started yelling at each other. So,
he's a Nikon guy.
You're Canadian. I'm American. You're Calgary Flames. I'm the Panthers. You're a Mac. I'm a PC, and you're Canon, and I'm a Nikon. So,
and we got this far.
Man.
Well, at least we got 40 minutes in.
He didn't tell us that at the beginning, Joe. What's going on?
We got 40 minutes in. So, thanks everybody for joining us.
Nice.
So I totally get it though. 1 to 400, that's a sweet range for landscape and wildlife. I mean, you could do it all really, like with that. I mean, you can do it all with all the glass, but that's a really sweet range for sure. So,
and I can just jump in on the video side as well to answer your question there as well. And on the video side, it's pretty much the exact same thing. But when I'm thinking of when I'm out shooting, for example, if we're photographing grizzlies, I'm trying to get wide shots, close-up shots, different types of shots. So in my mind, my vision would be, while I'm shooting, already thinking of how the edit's coming together. So, you know, I'm setting the scene with a wide shot coming into the mountains. Then I'm cutting, you know, close up or whatever. So you don't want to cut to close up, you know what I mean? So when you're thinking of editing the package, you're thinking of different scenarios and different behavior that you're capturing, and wide, medium, close-ups, all those different types of shots. So that's kind of, so yeah, so like with everything I do when I'm editing, even if I'm there there's one animal and we're there for like 10 minutes, I'm always thinking of how this is going to be edited in the end. That's just how I'm thinking.
That's the other half that sometimes people forget about. You know, they forget about the edit part. So that is very much part of your vision too, and it all works together. It's perfect. Yeah.
Sure. Well, thanks for the tip, Chris, because when I'm shooting video, I'm just clicking that little red button and I'm just like going, right? Like I'm capturing something, you know what I mean? So I'm going to have that zoom, all those clips all looking the same.
Together, the same thing.
Now I got to go wide angle. Thanks,
well,
man.
It depends. I mean, well, we ran into this issue in Churchill. We're photographing. We actually had an experience where the polar bear was coming over this ridge and there was a fox down below, and the fox spotted the polar bear and the polar bear spotted the fox. And here's me with my 400 2.8, and do I put it down and grab my 100 to 400 and potentially miss something, or just hang tough, continue videoing? And I just held it there the whole time. I would have loved to have grabbed the other angle, you know, a wider shot and be able to crop later on, but I just hung on. The video still turned out great. I was still able to track the scenario. Joe was able to get more of the full scene, I guess, as well, Joe. Wow. You saw that in the photos and whatnot. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there are scenarios that you may only get one shot and you're hoping you capture something. You may not get the wide shot and the close-up shot and the medium shot. And at the end of the day, just capture something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I guess so. When it's that quick, right? So.
Well, when you have the wrong lens on, especially when you have the larger lens, and, you know, the wildlife's coming to you or the bears, I just call it creative cropping after.
Right.
Because if it's too close, it's a split face this time, you know, or if it's, you know, oh, yeah. That was my vision, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that the bear was, you know, coming at you, right? So, not in an aggressive way, but you know what I mean, like walking towards you and stuff.
With that long lens. Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you had any close calls with the grizzlies? Or anything that you would consider a close call?
I only had it once, and it was a black bear sow with 2 cubs. And what was really bizarre about this was we're along the edge of a meadow, and she was walking away, and her cubs were following her. And she was probably about 70 yards or so away. And I don't know what happened. I don't recall anything like a branch snap. I don't recall anything that would have triggered her. But she turned around so fast and cut the distance within a second and a half. Like it was a bluff charge, right? And let me tell you, I had no time to even think that I had bear spray with me. And I did, you know. But the action was so fast. And that's about it. I mean, for the most part, like 30 years, you know, especially early on with black bears and all that, like nothing. I mean, it's just been really good experience with all of them. And don't get me wrong, like, I mean, Chris and I practice, you know, safe practices, you know what I mean, as far as keeping your distance and staying in the vehicle, or, you know, hiking in large groups. And, you know, because there's times where we'd go where certain bears are and you're not going in alone. So, you know, 4 or 5 people as a group, you know, and stuff like that. So
safety first.
Yeah, doing the right thing certainly helps. But what about you, Chris?
Oh, I was just gonna say you know, when we're shooting, and I haven't really run into any concerns, but we camp in bear country, right? So there's been many mornings that we've woken up and you know, I've woke up to hearing Joe, go, get away. I'm like, what the heck is going on? He's in his truck, I'm in my truck. I'd stick out and there's grizzlies right there, and our buddy's camping in his tent. Remember, and he could actually hear the nails on the cement and the. So there are some scenarios
right by his tent. Yeah.
Right by his tent. So so there are some close encounters. So we've had grizzlies charge right through the campsite with parks chasing. You know, elk right there. There was the one time I was talking to Joe. Joe was in a lawn chair. We got back to camp, and I'm talking to him, and We were there, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. I'm sitting in the back of my truck. He's on his lawn chair, and not like, I don't know, 10 yards behind him in the bushes. All of a sudden there was some rattling, and this massive big bull elk stands up, and he's like right been there for like the whole time. And
He was bedded down, then decides to get up, right? He's right behind me. So the most aggressive behavior for me one spring was a cow elk.
Oh, right.
And I borrowed my brother's van. It was red, and sleeping it and that kind of stuff. So I pulled over, I seen a cow elk. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a few photos. But I didn't get out. And all of a sudden she just kind of like something snapped, and she came charging to the van and like head-butted the side of the van. So just kind of rammed at the side of the door, and I'm like, what's going on? Like crazy behavior, but only to find out that she had a calf that was just in the tall grass that you couldn't see, right? So certainly spring elk can be super aggressive. We had a friend of ours that got trapped inside one of the outhouses because that cow elk would just not let her out or let him out. It was crazy. Well, oh yeah. When he told us the story, we were just dying. Like, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He says, open the door, and she wouldn't let me out, so I had to keep saying, going back in and out, trying to get out, right? So, but they could be very aggressive when they have their calves, for sure. So, but nothing major.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
No, I don't want the not yet. I don't want the not yet. No, not yet.
You're definitely not in your territory when you're out there. So
yeah, for sure. No, nothing.
Oh, for sure.
All is well. Yeah, we'll just keep it keep our streak going. So
positive, got to be positive.
That's right,
for sure.
Yeah. I've never had any issue with bear. I've seen a few, not nearly as many as you. And most of the time for me, they were at a pretty good distance in Tetons and Yellowstone. I love seeing them. Yeah. I was in the Smoky Mountains last week. Was it? Yeah. I think it was last week. I don't even remember. I'm getting old now. So I was there and I was hiking. I was looking for a cabin, and I was struggling finding the cabin. So I go up the mountain and then back down. And on the way back down, I saw a black bear. And I took a blurry picture of it. Nobody will ever see it, but I took it because I got to see a black bear. And it was just staring me down. And I was like, all right, I'm really hoping that you just move along. And unfortunately, he didn't put himself in a spot that I could photograph. But because of that bear, I ended up missing the cabin again. So I had to go back up the mountain trying to find the cabin. So I turned about 1.5 mile walk into about 5 miles trying to find it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So I'm going to blame the bear on that one.
Did you find it?
I did find the cabin.
Oh,
finally.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you carry bear spray?
I do not.
Okay. Is that common for you, like down in that area, bear spray? No.
No, not here in South Florida where we're at. We have alligators. We do have black bear, but I've only seen one since I've been down here for the last 20 years. So they're not very
alligator
common.
spray.
Oh,
No,
really?
no bear spray. Even when I go to Tennessee, there's not really ever any occurrences of a bear mauling. I think maybe I've heard of one in my time there. So black bears aren't very aggressive, at least not in Cades Cove area where they're used to seeing people.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of people. Now, when we were out west, we stayed at an Airbnb that had bear spray that you could take with you. And every day I was like, I'm going to take that with me. And I never did. So I always forgot.
Wow.
I always forgot it. And I know one day I'm going to regret that. So.
Oh, I feel naked without it because I've been carrying it forever.
We have it
like it's
be able
just
to reach it right off the bat. You know?
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
better than having it stuffed in your bag and you're like, oh, hold on a minute, let me get this out.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
No kidding.
Well, I guess
always ready.
I mean, we live in a very fortunate place where we see a lot of bears, and I mean, like a lot. That's
great.
Some years that are, you're well over 100, right? So, so the bear spray is certainly something that we always carry. And, a few other items, we got bear bangers and stuff too. And, those the small air horns and stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on, how far we're going in, that sort of thing. So, so we certainly have
our,
why, Chris?
I try not to carry the horn anymore because there's been so many times I go to put my bag down and there's a bear right in the tree over there.
Yeah.
Like
walking, banging it, beep. It's
Close
just
the
like
truck.
that.
Oh
That's
my
how-
Yeah,
goodness.
now you can get the video of it getting out of the tree. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So no, no, that's interesting. I just thought maybe I wasn't sure what was for certain areas of the world, right? Like you said South Florida. I think up here, majority of the people carry it.
Okay.
I would hope, anyways. But
Well, I think there's even in we have a provincial park like Kananaskis. I believe there's a rule there. I think that you have to have for every 2 people on a hike, you have to have 1 can of bear spray with you.
Oh,
or something
really?
Like
I
that.
had no idea that was
There's
even-
something like that there. I don't exactly know what
okay.
the full rule is, but yeah, depending on where you're at, I think you just need to check your location and the park rules, and then
do you carry a firearm then?
What's that?
Do you carry a firearm then when you're out in the woods?
Yeah, I have done that a few times in the
Yeah.
Everglades,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's kind of your form of protection then too, is being able to carry like a handgun or shotgun or something like that, right? In
Yeah.
those more of those dangerous areas and stuff.
I've
Yeah.
never had an issue with an alligator or anything like that at all, but sometimes I'll go into Cypress Dome, and in the center of the Cypress Dome, they have the gator hole that they call it. As the water recedes, the water is in the middle, and that's where the gator is going to be. So in the dry season, you can almost guarantee to find a gator there. But for the most part, they're really lazy. They're lazier than I am. So if you know where they're at, you're probably going to be all right. So.
Oh,
Good
I
to
see.
know.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right on.
So, all right. So we're getting pretty close, but I wanted to ask about social media.
Oh,
My idea of social media is posting once every 6 months, whether it needs it or not.
absolutely.
I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship with social media. I can't stand it most of the time, but I know that for photography, I mean, how else are you going to get your stuff out there? It's not like people go web surfing anymore to find your photos. So what do you guys do for social media? I mean, is it a constant thought? Is it something that you change the way you shoot for? Is it anything like that? Or do you just use it as a business tool and just put up what you got, what you love?
Go ahead, Chris.
You want me to start? Okay.
We have a love-hate relationship. So.
Yeah, it's depending on the year, I would probably answer a little different as well. Nowadays, so I have multiple Instagram accounts depending on what side of the business. I have my business split up into the nature and wildlife side, and then my other side of the business separated into. I do a lot of real estate video, sports and all that, as I was mentioning. But so for the nature side of it, I'm kind of posting when I can. I used to try to post as much as possible. Almost felt forced. Nowadays it's like when I get something, like I still have photos I haven't edited from 3 years ago. Like there's so many things. By the time I get to the content, I'll get it at some point. I don't really worry about that side of it. On the other side, on the flip side of it, the real estate, sports, all that kind of thing, I would say 95% of my business has come from social media. For real estate videos, sports photography, action, like posting all that content, people seeing that, hiring me from there, reaching out. That side of the business, like the services side, is reliant, or has been over the last 6 years for me, reliant on social media. Okay. So I have a love-hate relationship depending on the business that I'm talking about. So, but no, I don't. I've never really been concerned with it from a mental health standpoint. I do second guess certain times what I'm posting. But at the end of the day, like I said before, some people are going to love what you've posted. Some people are going to hate what you post. As long as you're happy with what you're posting and stand by it, then that's my thought process these days. So, Joe?
Well, so early on in my career, we had to do print ads in the paper. I remember shooting commercials for local cable TV. I remember doing mailers, and all that cost a lot of money back then, like thousands of dollars for one, short 30-second blurb on TV or something like that, right? And so the way I look at it, social media can be, addictive, affect mental health and everything. But on the business side of things, it's free. So you've got this platform that I don't think I would be where I am today without it, So I post on Instagram and Facebook are my two primary accounts. Threads kind of once in a while. I just kind of started with TikTok, got a few videos up, and I was kind of told that should be, another direction.
Is it a dancing video?
Yeah, you know it.
Is dancing? Oh,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, I'm keeping up with the trends.
Good.
Yeah, and so the way I view social, I mean, I was posting at least once a day. That got a little much. I'm figuring, so I kind of post 2 or 3 times a week now, just because, you're busy, running a business, right? You've got other things on the go. But, trying to keep up with algorithms and what's the current trend and that's a business in itself. Like, I mean, that could take hours out of your day just trying to figure out what the next move is. But I think for us, just trying to post as consistent as you can, post what you want. People see what you're shooting. People see what we're doing. Chris and I do some, we're going to be doing more of the behind the scenes and, more educational content and stuff like that too. Right. So, as far as social media goes, I mean, I find inspiration from social media also,
True.
Scrolling all the different Instagram accounts and Facebook and you meet a lot of cool people on there too. So there's a ton of positives for sure.
There are. There's a lot of photographers that I would have never known about if it hadn't been for social media. I mean,
Sure.
YouTube is social media as well. And
Absolutely.
I found you guys through podcast actually. And then sadly, only recently realized that you also did the video to find it on YouTube. So it is a love-hate thing. Most of the time I hate it when I'm just scrolling through it, but then I'll think of a specific photography or a photographer that I want to look at, and then it's better. And then I get to meet awesome guys like both of you. And all of that happened because of social media, and it didn't cost us anything to do that.
Right, exactly.
Well, and that's it, the connections you make with other people, right? I mean, that's priceless in itself, But yeah, social media has brought our huge community together. Like I mean, before that was books and you hope to hit a speaker or something like, before all this, right? Or whatever it was. But no, it's awesome. I think it's great. You just have to learn how to manage
the balance.
it. Yeah, the balance for sure.
Yeah, to turn off the screaming,
Yeah.
What did they call that? The death scroll or dead scrolling or whatever it's called. What's that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's dead scroll. I think it's called dead scrolling, where you're just like you're looking at reels after reels.
I
you know
see.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's been an hour and a half, and
That's
you're just
right.
like, I still have 10 more minutes, and then I'll go do what I want to do, and I'll just keep So as long as you can manage it, okay, I think it's a great tool for sure.
But we've built tons of friends over the years, like you said, Jason, right? Like I mean, we wouldn't have known you without social media. We reached out, or like you reached out to us, and we see your work as well, and we're following you on YouTube now and seeing your content.
Exactly.
And we've been to a nature photography conference here. The 4th year in a row is coming up here next week, and when we first started going there, we meet people that, we should follow you on social media. Wait a second, we already are following you. Now we put a face to the name and got to meet you in person,
that's
and
great.
that's cool too, right? So
Yeah,
For sure.
just drowned out the noise and enjoy the good parts,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. That's what you got to do.
All right, so what is next for the nature photo guys? What do you have any future plans, or are you just gonna keep chugging along what you're doing right now?
Growing a better tolerance, I guess. Hanging with Chris. I got to cut down on the drinking. I know that because every time Chris. Well, I talk to Chris every day. Like, man, I just.
hey, well, we're having fun.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Sometimes
I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
love somebody, sometimes you're gonna hate somebody, and sometimes
I don't know. I mean, Chris and I just recently talked about this, and we do a lot of interviews. I think we're up to like 25 interviews, but we have about 100 videos on our YouTube channel. So we kind of want to get back to our gear review, gear reviews, more behind the scenes stuff, getting out in the field and showing, everybody what we do and how we capture the images.
Because we've only been doing interviews for about 2.5, 3 years. We've been doing this for about 5 years now. The first couple of years, we didn't do any interviews. Okay. We were just all out in the field and
Yeah,
so
for sure.
When you start doing behind the scenes, is it like up the difficulty of what you're doing? Now you're worried about video and the critter and whether you're going to do video or photos, and now you got to try to capture it. Taking the photos and taking the videos,
and that's the thing. I mean, Chris and I had plans like this forever, but by the time, you should see the gear we carry that we never take out. Like, it's ridiculous.
Bear.
And that's it.
Yeah, we forgot to record us after a week in Churchill. Oh, great.
That's right. So we're definitely going to put more of an effort, with some of these, like the 360 cameras or the GoPros and, something that we can attach to us and do more of that kind of stuff. So we're not, Chris is, taking photos of this interaction or this behavior when I'm like, I'm taking video, Chris, while this is happening, and vice versa, that kind of stuff. So, we're trying to figure it out. It's kind of a tough thing to do when all you want to do is photograph and take video. Another friend of ours, actually, he's a photographer, and he doesn't like the idea of having to record the behind the scenes stuff for like brands and whatever companies he's working with. So as part of his process, he puts that into the budget that he hires a videographer, because he doesn't want that taking away from the process of creating images. So with Chris and I, we almost have to kind of like step back and almost, I guess, okay, Chris, this is your shot. Okay, Joe's going to do all the video and you know what I mean, the photos, and then kind of take our turns or something like that. Yeah. But that's tough.
There is I did see online, there's this one lady, I'm going to try it. I actually have a 360 camera, and this one lady, actually, everything she photographed, she has her 360 camera on the top of her camera on her hot shoe. Oh, so nice. She's recording everything in front, everything behind, and you can, with 360, you can reframe it after the fact. So at least it's constantly recording, but the audio doesn't always get that great. So, wearing a mic pack and like we have, and as well, we'd have to both be wearing that too, but, and then sync up the audio later on. But yeah, there's lots of different scenarios that need to be thought about when you're trying to. I love the fact that, there's certain people that, you see them walking into the shot and they're walking past the camera, and how many times do they put the camera down there to walk past on their own? Oh my goodness! Then, I tripped. I got to go back and do it again. And
I wanted to do a blooper reel of me where I'd set up the tripod and walk past it, and then in the video you see me coming back and getting the tripod and moving it, and then walk past it again, and then trailing back and picking it up and carrying it. It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Well, when video, like I'm sure Chris has seen this like years ago, and I'm just starting to notice, like when you look at some of those videos, like I can't believe the amount of work that goes in for that B-roll. I mean, there's probably more work into the B-roll than there is actually, taking the shot or filming, that sequence of you talking to the camera. Because, man, oh man, like everything you do, you got to go back and get that camera and then place it again, right?
And some people are walking so far too.
So
it's crazy. For sure. So
that's why you use wide-angle lenses. It looks like you walk far,
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good plan. Good. Write that down, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. Take a note. Yeah.
Well, I would love to see the behind the scenes for what you guys do. So you'd have at least one person watching.
Perfect.
Good.
Perfect. Well,
I'm not going to join any Patreon or send you any money, but I'll watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think everybody wants to watch the behind the scenes for what we have.
But
we kind of laugh a little bit out.
We laugh way too much. Yeah, we've got a lot of, like when we record our podcast, oh my God, like the stuff that just Chris and I do, like beyond the interview stuff. I mean, half of it. I mean, we should be doing blooper reels every 6 months. Like,
that'd be awesome.
We get off laughing too much, and then we just have to stop, right?
Some of it's kind of too silly, but
it's obvious that you guys get along great, and you're your podcast is amazing. So
Oh, thanks so
I'm
much.
happy to
I
see
appreciate
it.
it.
Glad I found it. I'm still catching
Yeah.
up from all the ones in the past, but I'll get there eventually.
Oh yeah,
I figure once I'm tired of listening to you, I'll be there. So,
yeah,
Well,
so
thanks.
you guys run workshops, right?
yeah. You bet.
You bet.
Do you have
Yeah.
any this year or next year?
Yeah. So we have one coming up in June, 5th to the 8th, down in Waterton Lakes National Park.
Yep.
So it's our photo video workshop. So I'm teaching all the video. Chris is teaching. I can't even say that with a straight face.
No.
I'm teaching the photo. Chris is teaching the video,
Okay.
and we're kind of mixing it in a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Joe's
we're
getting
both-
great at video. He
we're
could
both
teach some
teaching both.
video for sure.
We're both teaching both a little bit.
Yeah, there you
And so, yeah, and that's the other thing we're working on is adding another workshop for next year.
Okay.
I currently do some on my own. So I just had my May one in Waterton this past weekend. And then I've got one coming up in September too for the elk rut.
Okay.
And then expanding a little bit more into 2026. I got some big trips for that too. So I haven't posted them yet, just working on the logistics on that. But
And-
yeah, Chris and I are looking at expanding for sure.
And we both have one-on-ones that we do as well. So
Oh, nice.
really trying to help people. Everybody seems to be a little scared of video on the video side.
Yes.
For me on my side, right? So we get a lot of questions. I have all this content. What am I supposed to do with it? How do I record video? There's all these questions. So just trying to put people's minds at ease and saying transition from photography to video. So I'm trying to help people with that on some one-on-ones as well. And Joe does one-on-one
that's-
photography.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it too. You get to really know the individual. Yeah, it's perfect. Is most everything you do around wildlife? Does it center
No.
around wildlife, or do you do some
Nature.
Nature,
Just like
okay.
yeah, like
Yeah.
landscapes, say Joe.
Yeah, so our workshops are all nature photography.
Okay.
So like that, like this past weekend, for instance, we did sunrise. We went out looking for wildlife. In the afternoon, we do some waterfall photography. Look for wildlife.
Nice.
We do a sunset.
Or
you know,
auroras.
auroras. Previous workshops, I did top macro photography. Along with that, pretty much whatever our participants want to learn, right? So, for me down here, it was really hard to call it a wildlife photography workshop because, as you know, Jason, there's never any guarantee that you're going to see wildlife, right?
Yeah.
So. So we try and
It's a
mix it up
bonus.
and put it all together, right? So it's a good broad range of like subjects and skills and techniques, all that kind of stuff to teach. So it's awesome. Yeah.
No, that's great. So I was going to tell everybody watching this that if you go on one workshop next year, go to my Death Valley workshop in January. But if
Death
you go
Valley.
on two,
Awesome.
check out
Nice,
these
nice.
guys here. I'm sure it would be amazing. So go up there and
appreciate
see a
that.
beautiful place with
Thanks,
some
Jason.
awesome photographers and videographers and enjoy yourself. So I would love to go on
Appreciate that.
something like that. So I'm going to have to look myself.
Well, Death Valley sounds awesome too, so we'll have to check
Yeah,
that
no
out.
kidding.
Oh yeah. I'm really looking forward to that one. I've been trying to do that one for a few years. I've got
Nice.
Joshua Tree coming up this year, but both of
Nice.
them are full, so they're
Oh,
full
okay.
up.
Excellent.
I've
That's
got
awesome,
about
man.
Death Valley's about half full, so I've got some spots still to fill on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a crazy place if you've never been to Death Valley.
So
It's crazy.
you said Death Valley in January, so but I'm still, by the sounds of it, it still sounds still hot. Like,
No,
is it still,
it's actually pretty
is it-
decent. It's in the 40s up to 70 Fahrenheit. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so still above zero then. Like you're in.
Yes. Yeah, it's not very
the,
cold. I mean, you might have a layer on, but you'll be taking it off once the sun starts coming up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
You at least for me, there's no way I would ever do a workshop in Death Valley in the middle of summer because it gets its name for a reason. So
No
No
kidding.
kidding.
100, I
Holy
think it's got the
jeez.
record of 138 degrees Fahrenheit one year. So
Whoa.
yeah, no,
So
thank
it
you.
melts your camera gear. Yeah. It just melts everything. Yeah,
I've
no
been to
thanks.
Joshua Tree. It's an amazing place. So, yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
doing mostly night photography in Joshua Tree.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh, so is it timed with like the Milky Way or auroras and that kind of stuff? or-
Well, we won't see any auroras there.
Yeah.
The Milky Way will kind of still be up, but we'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
doing a lot
yeah.
of star trails and sunset
nice.
scenes and just deep sky
Yeah.
object kind of stuff. So
Oh, excellent.
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's quite a vast area there. I was pretty surprised when we first we've always bugged my wife or whatever. She always thought we'd go to Joshua Tree and it'd be that one Joshua Tree on the cover of the U2 album, and you'd go over the hill and
Yeah.
and then there's like millions of Joshua trees. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, I won't keep you guys anymore. So it's been really fun. Thank you very much for coming on. And I'm looking forward to what you guys do. I want to see those behind the scenes videos. Sure. I'd love to see bloopers. That would all be fantastic. So thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Jason. I mean, Chris and I are flattered that you
100%.
you reached out and offered this opportunity. So this was a lot of fun, really cool, and I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was an honor to be on your show. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm going to end this show like I end all of them, and that is to get off the couch, grab your camera, escape, explore, and create.